Hello guys, today I want to show you the final video of the DART. It is now completed, everything is working. I have added everything that I can think of and it is now in a state to finally show it off. There are a few things I will go over when I'm showing this stuff, a few tricks or how you have to build certain things that maybe are not so clear to everyone. But first off, let's go over the device itself. First off, the DART is the smallest helm mountable DIY monocular out there, to my knowledge yet. It features a P6 thermal core with a 512x640 resolution with a 13mm lens. It also utilizes a 0.39 micro display and a NP18 lens. And this combination gives you almost perfect 1-to-1. The firmware on here is also done, and it features zoom steps, so you could still adjust if it's slightly off. I was testing it with my Yorkshire analog night vision in bino mode, and I actually needed like one step up zoom to have it perfectly merge, and I can tell you it works amazingly well. Really, really cool. So it is tiny. Let's go over it. On the back we have the battery compartment with a screw cap. Simply open it up. There's your battery. Inside we can see the spring-loaded battery contact, and on the top side we see the top contact point with the brass plate that does contact the metal part on the side, so we have power. On the side, Ohino already made in the original design. I remixed because this is remixed, so shout out to Ohino for the concept base design. Fucking amazing. So as you can see here, clearly shows how the battery goes in, plus up, drop it in, spring loaded nicely, and you just close it up. Look at that. I was able to get it on first try. Woohoo! What do we have on here? So the DART is controlled by 5 buttons, more or less. We have those 2 buttons, big, nice, easy accessible, with a button plate now on top, and the 3-way navigation switch on here that goes up, down, or left or right, and you can press it. So we have 5 buttons all together to use all the functions on here. Here you can see the 1/4 thread for the helmet mount. Works perfectly fine on a J-arm. It looked really fun next to the Yorkshire or any other night vision device because it is so small and so far back off, but it's not an issue. I first thought it could be problematic with the night vision device being so much longer that you would actually see it on the side, but that is not the case. So the FOV angle with the 13mm lens, no issue. Would be probably an issue if like a 4mm lens on, but who would put a 4mm lens on here? On the front, I created a TPU lens cap protector that uses one of the focus screws here. The grub screws here, they are holding the front focus adjuster in place. So of course you can adjust the focus on it. I also added like little nubs here on the side because before it was flat and it was really hard to grip, but now you can see it's easy to adjust. When you flip it open, you just bend it to the side, it's out of the way, and on helm mount position the battery is facing downwards. Of course you can also put it down here or back here, so it's out of the way and you're good to go. The power switch is under here. It's a little TPU cover, and you simply switch it on, and then we should have power. If I close it up nicely, yeah. Of course this will be not in focus now because I'm way too close. But yeah, it starts in white hot as stock, and by pressing the navigation switch down, you can cycle through the different color modes, pseudo colors. Easy peasy. The firmware can be manipulated however you like it. It's super easy with with AI. You just take the code, copy it like in Gemini, tell it what it is in a few words, and you just tell it what you want to have changed. You can feed the AI the spec sheet with all the UART commands, and you're good to go. You can choose whatever button you want to use for what option or what combination if you don't like how the stock firmware comes that I made. This one starts with auto nooking off, so the picture will degrade over time when it's heating up, but when I press this button once, you hear it click, and then it does its auto nooking on off. That's just my preference. This is just for auto nook on and off. You can zoom left and right. Where are we? There we are. Yeah, this is, as you can see, I can zoom in or zoom out. Let's change to a more visible color. Then by holding this button and pressing, I can cycle through the contrast. As you can see, very contrasty to almost no contrast, very smooth picture. I can also hold it and move the navigation switch left and right, which changes the brightness. Very dark, and all the way up to very bright. Yeah, we have contrast, brightness, zoom, and pseudo color modes, and of course auto nooking on and off. Enhancement is taken off on the firmware code altogether because there's no real need for it. I didn't see like any advanced in trying to do. It's possible that if you want to use that without like you can like create some sort of pseudo outline mode, and it's not like on the Minis 2, but it comes really close, and you can achieve that by playing around with the settings. Here on the back here, this is just like a little rubber grommet for the eyes. It's a very short one. I put it on because I want to be as close to the lens as possible. So this is a really short, but it is just right so your eyelashes don't fuck up the lens all the time. Also on the Dart, I disabled the OTR and online firmware update because it is now really easy to access it. You just have to unscrew the back lens, and you can see right away the inside. You can see the USB-C on the lower side, and it's really easy to access. The only thing you have to do is like use a stock USB-C cable and just cut away a bit of the rubber so the plug is a little longer, and then it's easy to access. Also super easy to get the lens back on. Here we go, and it's on again. Let's put the rubber grommet on for completeness, and we are back in business. Yeah, I added, you can see like all those stickers on here. This is not printed, obviously. I ordered some water transfer stickers. These are normally used for like figurines from mechas, like you know, those big robots, and I just like the look of it. And it doesn't mean, actually I showed it someone on Alibaba where I get my cameras from, and she told me, oh, it's cool because this symbol on here means 4 in Chinese. It's a traditional symbol and it means 4. Well, good thing it doesn't mean like I like, It doesn't mean I like noodle soup or some other stuff like people like to tattoo on their bodies and have no clue what they mean. And yeah, that is the freaking Dart. I freaking love it. It is so freaking small. Performance is amazing. The P6 core in here, super fast frame rate, almost no lag, works really well together with night vision. Of course, there's a little bit of lag, but compared like to the Mini 2 series, it's world in between. So that's not an issue. Of course, there is not a lot of space in here. It is an advanced build for sure. I can tell you that much. And this is like a shell when I was playing around. To show you a bit, this is gonna be a little different. I mean, I have added quite a bit of pictures and I will add more. In here you can see there is the main switch that's just pressed in the recess. And on the back there will be like a little plate with a spring for the battery contact. And yeah, obviously you can see I took out the 1/4 brass melt insert here because I reused it in this one. I'm not sure why I took this. Oh yeah, the driver board for the display was not fitting in here by like a few tenths of a millimeter, and I had to cut out here a little bit more and slightly change the design so the corners of the PCB are not like gonna show out because the print was too thin. And I made sure that the thinnest outer wall is at least 3 layers, 3 walls, so it is stable enough so nothing breaks. One thing that is a little bit tricky is like the battery contact I showed you before. Here this one is missing, but it's just you need one of those. You use that normally to connect like lithium ion cells with a little electric welder, and you'll simply like take a piece off here and you take the corners off left and right, and that's a little bit of handiwork. As you can see here, the thread on the side, yeah, you can see the thread on the side is gone, and that's where this little metal stripe should overlap. And you have to really make it really short, just a slight overlap, and like use some pliers to press it in really tight so you are still able to get the screw cap on and on the inside. So when I will demonstrate like how it kinda goes. So you make this look nice and tight, and then you glue it in place on here. You can bend this, by the way. It helps a lot if you just take an 8650 or a battery and you bend it around the outer body of it so it gets the shape better, and then you place it in here and you make it look nice and smooth and work it in. Make it as short as possible, of course, so you are able to still like screw the cap on. And on the back it's the same. You then bend it back over here so you get over that corner where you then solder a cable to it, and you just use a little bit of glue and isolate it so stuff cannot touch the metal stripe. And then you have your top contact plate up here, and that's how this works. The rest is slightly easier, I guess. It is very tight. The BMS and DC step up goes on this side. You really have to manage wiring length a bit. I used I used 28 AWG cables for a few parts, but I still used some enamel wire like this kind of a really thin one. With those kind of wire you have no issues at all, but just use it for really short stuff, and of course not a lot of power. So everything that is power driven, like to the step up, you should not use super thin enameled wire. Use the 28 AWG wire. You have enough room for that to get it in, and you have to play around and you place everything in it. There's the pouch for the ESP. The driver board goes up here, and on this side is actually the most space where the two push buttons get in. There you can store a lot of the wires if you need them to hide, which you should. And there was something I want to say, something very important. Oh yeah, once you place the push buttons in here and you have all the boards on the sides and you slide the camera in, the push buttons can easily be pushed in. So you have to use cardboard, fold it and push it in between the camera and the buttons so they cannot be pushed inward. You can use glue. I didn't do it because glue is messy, and if you get glue in the buttons, yeah, they will stop working, because glue inside those little buttons, they will stop working. What else? The TPU cap on the back for the power switch simply like gets pressed on. If you can't fit it first, use like a nail scissor and like widen, like go around the edge slightly and make a little bit more room for the TPU cap. As you can see, because this is on the floor, this is like a little edge, and so it's hard to get it in. So use that around. It's still plenty of tight in there even after you clear out those recesses all around. And then you should be good with the TPU cap as well. What else? Yeah, melting the 1/4 brass insert in. The grub screws go in here, holding the focus ring. You can actually use the focus if you don't like the round look from the original design I came up with. You can actually use the focus lens of the Gremlin, but you have to shorten it a bit on the back because it's sticking too far in. But it would actually perfect fit, because that's what I used to modify for the Dart. Yeah, the 2.5 screws go in directly, they tap directly into the plastic. There's plenty of room in there to grip. Of course, don't over tighten, do it with a little bit of feeling, and you should be fine. And when you are done, I will, by the way, add this cap in the parts list, because I just added it today and it's really handy, and it's not one of the big ones who adds a lot of bulk to it. Yeah, I guess that's it. That is the Dart. I will also link like to the water transfer stick if any one of you is interested in those as well. Look at that like tiny little yellow battery bolt symbol, so freaking cool. Yes, that's it. What else? Oh yeah, I used like the sealant ring on here, the red one. Is semi-transparent, and the step-up board has 4 really bright LEDs. And funny enough, if it's really dark, you can see a light glow around the red, which looks kind of cool. But if you don't want it, just use black TPU and you won't see any of that. Water resistant, not so much. The buttons are exposed, the navigation switch is exposed, and the top cap with the lens on it that goes the gap in here, that is not waterproof. So you can check the rating on my Excel list I added in the on the Discord with all the bills. Yeah, you could try to kind of waterproof it. That's up to you. It is just a gadget. I don't have to win a war with it or swim through the Atlantic. That's not what I'm going to plan. It looks cool. It works amazingly well. I like it. Yeah. Links to the Dart in the description below. Also check the Discord if you want to join it. There's all the help you can get. All the schematics as well help desk, and lots of other stuff, and lots of people who are ready to help. So that it is for today. Thanks for watching. This is the Dart. Have fun building it. See you around, I guess. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.